All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've uploaded. Life is busy. I'll talk about that in a moment. Let me just say this. There are 3 platforms right now that are promising insane passive income in crypto. That's why I'm making this video. One of these platforms basically looks like a Ponzi scam on steroids. One of them locks up your money for nearly a year with zero transparency. And one of them might just be the easiest, most sustainable real yield income play that I've seen in cryptocurrency. And that's really why I'm making this video. I want to discuss these platforms because I keep seeing a lot of people talking about them, but I feel like people aren't being honest. And so, listen, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, personally, life has been busy for me. I'm still here. I'm still paying attention. I'm still investing in this space every single day. I'm still watching crypto YouTube. Crypto's been a big part of my life. It's not just a hobby, it's a serious investment for me. YouTube's always been a way to share what I'm learning with you guys, but with life getting busier, I've just had less time to dedicate to it. That's going to start to change today. I'm coming back. I'm planning to put up 1 to 2 solid videos a week. And when I say solid, I mean it. I'm not here to chase views or hype or garbage projects. I'm here to take real investments, talk about real investments, show you how I'm making money in this space, projects I truly believe in. I'm here to talk about legislation. I want to talk about big moves that show mass adoption is coming and the fight that we have to keep decentralization alive over centralized economics because everybody's talking about, ooh, price go up, ooh, green candle. But it doesn't matter if the powerful financial elite in the world, if the large institutional investors are trying to take decentralization away from you and I. Because I'll tell you right now, I'm in it for the little guy. I'm in it for the individual. I am not in this for the big banks or the institutional investors. I don't give a damn what governments want to do with crypto unless it's about preserving the freedom to transact, to invest, and make money in a decentralized way. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm back. And that's why this video matters. Listen, if you've been burned by fake promises in DeFi, if you've been rug pulled before, I'm about to help you spot some of the traps so you can start to find real opportunities. First of all, we're going to be talking about project number 1. Let's talk about BitNest because if you've been anywhere online in the passive income crypto space lately, you've seen this popping up. Their claim, 124% in 28 days. That's what they're claiming. You're going to get all of your money back plus 24% in 28 days. But we've seen this before. These sort of things can run for up to a year in some cases, but not this one. This will not last that long. Why? Right here. Look at their affiliate payout. So on your profit, if you refer somebody to this, I have no referral links. I will not be promoting this. You're going to, and this is why people are talking about it, by the way. If someone makes, let's just say someone puts in, I don't know, $500. They're going to make a little over $100. We'll say $100 in 28 days. Then they're going to take that $100 in profit and they're going to reinvest it right away. They're going to compound it. The problem is the platform BitNest now has to earn more than 24% on that $100. Why? Because that $100 is profit. They have to pay out 20%, 10%, 5%, 3%, and 1%. They have to pay out up to 39% of that $100 to referral commission. Then they're left with only $61 of your original 100, and they're supposed to somehow turn that into $124. They got to turn $61 into $124 inside of 28 days. I'm not buying it. BitLoop uses a distributed decentralized circulation return method. Do you understand what they're saying? They're literally saying circulation return. We are just returning money back to you that is in circulation, other people's liquidity. So, ladies and gentlemen, before you think I can time it, let me just tell you, someone is left holding the bag, and sooner or later, we all get screwed if you play high-risk games like this. So be very, very careful. Now, platform number 2. This one's a little bit different. They got what I call the trust me bro yields. Just trust me, bro. This is number 2. PAKA Finance. This one's a bit more subtle. They're offering around 0.33% in their daily yields. Let's go over here to the pools. You could normally this says 0.33%. I don't know if they've got some sort of change. So you can see here in the SUI pool, 0.33%. That looks pretty low, but that's still roughly about 10% a month. That's not impossible if they're actually what they're saying they're doing is you give them stable coins right here. I don't know why these aren't populating. It may just be a UI glitch right now. But they're saying if you give them stable coins and you lock it up for 250 days, right here, for example, you're going to have your funds locked up and you're going to be earning back 0.33% daily, is what they're saying. And you're going to earn it back in stable funds. What they're claiming they're doing is they're claiming they're going to take those funds, they're going to go yield farm with those funds with crypto assets, not stable coins, because you can't make these returns yield farming stable coins. This is all about making it easy for you. They're going to go do the concentrated liquidity. They're going to do the complicated stuff, is what they're claiming. And they're going to pay you back in stable coin returns. Is this possible? In a bull market, it is absolutely possible with certain high risk plays. Yes, it is possible. But in a sideways market, and most definitely in a protracted bear market, when you have a down market for several days, God forbid a couple of weeks at a time, I do not think these returns are going to be sustainable at all. That's assuming that they're actually doing DeFi. That's the thing. Here's the catch. Your money's locked up. Look, your money's locked up for 250 days. You can't get to it. And I don't know why these aren't showing up over here. But your money's locked up for 250 days. You can't get to it. And there's zero transparency on what they're doing with your money. There's no on-chain proof. There's no ability to pull funds if something goes wrong. It's locked up for 250 days. You're trusting a faceless entity with your stablecoins for almost a year, hoping they deliver. 250 days is what, like 8 months, hoping that they deliver. Could it last? Sure, maybe. Could it be a slow-moving Ponzi scam? Absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. Here's the rule in crypto. Don't lose your coins. At the end of the day, don't lose money. When you put blind trust for nearly a year, for me, that's a massive risk. I know a lot of people are doing this. This has been around a while. A lot of people are talking about it. But for me, it's just too big of a risk. Would you lock up your hard-earned money for 250 days on a trust me, bro promise? Drop a yes or no in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. Like, who would do that? Because I know I've got some risk takers in my audience for sure who watch these videos. Next up, now this is a platform that I'm pretty excited about. We're talking about, this one's very interesting, and it's not perfect. It is not perfect. I promise you. I will be objective, but I'm putting some of my money in this one. I like it. I've got 5 figures into this thing. What am I talking about? I'm talking about DexFi Bonds. DexFi Bonds is interesting. This is the one platform that actually passes a smell test for the most part, and here's why. They're transparent. You can see the vault values on chain. So they're doing what PAKA Finance is claiming to do. They're doing it with their own vaults. You can come over here and see all the vaults. So you can do it yourself. You don't need to use their platform. You can come over here and go into all these vaults if you wanted to yourself. But they make it easy. They're like, hey, we'll manage it. We'll do all of the vaults and the concentrated liquidity and one thing or another. You just come over here, purchase an NFT. The current value is $258. This is the cumulative amount of all of the money that people have bought. How do we know this? Because this is the total amount of bonds minted. If you mint a bond, by the way, this is ETH on base. What happens is, how do they get this value? It is $7,701 divided by 1.9 million here. If you divide this by this number, you end up getting this number. That's how it works. This fund value goes up and down based on the assets in the fund. And you can see the fund on chain. You can see exactly where it's invested. You don't have to guess. And then the yield they pay you back in this is this APR. This is a real APR. So again, what PAKA claims to do, they're actually doing it in a more transparent way. The difference is you're not making 120% a year. You're currently making 73% APR, which is okay with me. That's good money. I'll show you the math in a minute. This will roughly double your investment every single year at the current rate. And I'll show you that here in a moment. I'm going to tell you my plans here. So this is, just so you know, I came in here originally with about $10,500. The underlying assets have gone up in the fund, and so we're currently at $13,421. I don't have to lock this up. This is not locked up for 250 days. I can get this out at any point in time. At any point in time, I can come over here and unstake, and I can get this out if I want to. This APR goes up and down. It doesn't stay at 0.33% or point anything. It goes up and down based on what is happening, and I'll show you in a minute. On chain is going to based on the real APRs that are being produced from these vaults over here. So how do we know they're in these vaults? I told you it's on chain. Let me show you. So if you come back to bonds, Basically, all bonds do is just make DeFi simple. You come over here, click right here. You can go to the bank. This is their bank profile. You can see all of the funds right there. It is this plus this basically equals this right here. This is these are the funds. This is what they have in the wallet waiting to get deployed. About once a week they deploy these funds into these vaults right here. These are all the vaults. So you can go look up all these vaults. These are the amounts in every vault. So they're taking the yield, and that is where how they're paying out. They take a management fee or whatever else. And you can go into all the documentation and see all of that. But they're taking that yield, the leftover yield, they're passing back to us, and you can claim it at any point in time. I claim this every day. Currently I'm getting about $25, $26 a day. Now, here's what you need to know. This is valued in the underlying assets. When we have a bull market, this goes up, just like this goes up. When in a bear market, this goes down a little bit, just like this goes down. Just like your position would be if you were yield farming. So this is my real money. I can take this out basically at any point in time. It takes about, I think it's 24 hours when you unstake. Now, what's the negative? And then I'll show you sort of my numbers, my projections on what I'm earning. What's the negative? The negative is if you go to unstake, you do take a 10% cut, and that 10% stays in the fund. So essentially, you get rewarded for staying in. You take a 10% haircut when you get out of here. So if I was to jump out here, I would lose $1,340. I'm still ahead, not worried about it. The reality is I'm not worried about getting out of here right now. I'm not going anywhere. I do have a plan to withdraw. I'll show you that here in a moment. This is not all of my investment. This is one of several platforms that I'm in right now. But this is probably one of the higher earners, and it's one of the simplest. Like I don't have to manage this one because someone else is essentially managing it for me on chain. And by the way, if you want to know who's managing or what's going on, if you've got questions, you can come over here to their Discord. They're very active in the Discord. If you have a question, avoid the scammers. Look for DexFi CEO. He will answer all of your questions inside the Discord. There's no, by the way, there's no sponsorship link, referral link. There's none of that. I'm just sharing with you a platform that I'm currently using. I mean, if they had a referral link, I wouldn't have a problem sharing it, but they don't. This is just me just sharing this with you. This is exactly what I'm doing. So, number one, you're going to take a 10% haircut if you unstake. Now, number two, even though we can verify on-chain was taking place, it is centralized. So I don't control these vaults. I don't control this money. I don't control this money when it's on chain. Someone else is managing it. So that's where trust comes in. Over here, I have the trust, but I can't see what they're doing with the money if they're doing anything with it. Over here, oh, we just updated the page. There we go. That's why we weren't seeing things probably earlier. Over here, BitNest, I don't know what they're doing. I don't even know what they're claiming. It doesn't even make really sense what they're saying they're doing. But over here, I can see what they're doing. I can prove that they're doing what they say they're doing. I just can't control the funds. That's the risk I have. Not your keys, not your crypto. So this is theoretically, even though I can see it, it's like me giving money over to a centralized exchange. When I send money to Coinbase, I don't have access to that money. If I send money to Binance, I don't have access to that money anymore. I have the trust they're going to give it back to me. So there is an element of centralized trust. I'm told that they're working towards potentially trying to create more decentralization along the way. They have been creating more, like you can come up here to the DAO and see all these different documents they have that they keep publishing and keep putting out. So they're doing, I'm told they're moving more towards decentralization all the time. They admit they may not hit full, they may not be able to automate their entire process, but they are moving more towards decentralization all the time. I know originally it took about 72 hours, I think, to unstake, and now I think it's about 1 day. Originally, I think you could claim once a day. Now you could claim in real time at any given time. And your earnings are always in USDC, which is super cool. So how much am I actually earning right now? What are my goals with DexFi? Let's look at some basic math right here. So the month of August, this is pretty conservative. I'm assuming I'll have $13,200 in there. Reality, I'm above that now, and August is still a day and a half away. But I will earn about, assuming a 72% APR. Currently, we are earning 73% APR. I will tell you this has been as high as in the 90s, in the 80s. This is actually one of the lower APRs I've seen. But Maybe it continues to go down. I don't know. I'm just projecting. So I'm saying a 72% APR. And I also am assuming right here that we're only going to compound our earnings. We're going to compound this monthly. So we're going to compound the 792 in and end up with, 13,992. However, I'm actually compounding whenever I have enough to come in for my earnings, then it's about 3 times a month right now. I'm compounding. So I'm compounding at a faster rate. I'm just showing you how I'm being conservative. So I'm assuming I only start with 13,200. I'm going to have more than that. I'm assuming we're compounding at a 72% APR. We've been earning more than that. And I'm assuming I'm compounding only once. Reality, I'm going to be compounding 3 or more times every single month. But you can see, essentially, in the course of 12 months, I'm going to basically double my money, $100 short, double my money in 12 months at the current rate, assuming the market stays, stable, which is going to go up and down. I'll cover that in a moment. So that means that basically in 1 year, I'm going to double my money. So that's going to be $1,500 earning. That'll be earning. And a year after that, now we're going to be at 3,000. A year after that, we're going to be at 6,000. So 3 years into this, assuming I don't even add any more money, and I have some money to add, I have about $1,500 to add, so that's going to speed this projection up. Plus, I have a plan. I'm not going to keep doubling and doubling. I do have a plan to withdraw. I'll share that with you in a moment. But if we continue to stay in this bull market cycle that we're in right now, theoretically, I may hit 1,500 with compounding in as quick as 6 months to 8 months or 9 months. And if that happens, let's just say 6 to 8 months, I hit this goal. That means I'm not going to have to wait 3 years to get to 6,000. That means theoretically I could get to 6,000 a month, starting with $1,300 and $13,000 inside of, what do you know, maybe 2.5 years. Now, if we end up in a bear market, if a bear market shows up and we have a bear market that lasts, however long it's going to last, a year or 2 or 3, then it's going to take longer, right? It's going to take me, maybe it takes twice as long. Maybe instead of 3 years, it's 6 years. Who knows? The truth is, probably won't take 6 years because we'll end up in a bull market again, and all this money is going to grow that much faster. If I keep compounding on the way down, it grows faster on the way up. If you understand how compounding works in the crypto space. That being said, this is my goal right here. I made this little tracking sheet so I could track myself. This is my actual goal, because at $1,500 a month, what I plan to do is leave $500 here, growing, and to withdraw 1,000. And I'm going to use that 1,000 to purchase Apex assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, something that's more long-term, HODL long-term. The whole goal is to create passive income that just buys Apex assets. That's the whole goal for me personally. And that's what I like about DexFi. And when you realize that I'm trying to build an income stream to be able to purchase Apex assets, that means that if I come into something like Paca and it's not real, I believe the risk goes up drastically when I can't verify the funds on chain. Then what happens is if this does end up being a slow Ponzi, then I'm losing an income stream that is designed to buy one of the fastest appreciating assets of our lifetimes. So it's more than losing, say, $10,000. I'm losing an income stream that should be able to buy $1,000 or more in Bitcoin. And when $1,000 in Bitcoin today will be $10,000 tomorrow. So you understand that the risk is far greater than just the $10,000 in crypto that I invest in this thing. Same thing with BitNest. So that's just why, listen, here's where I land. BitNest is a high risk Ponzi bait. Stay away unless you're just into gambling. Paca, blind trust, long lockup, no proof, not for me. DexFi, real yield, real risk, but I can manage the risk, real potential. And the only one of 3 that I'm comfortable using my own money with. By the way, this isn't sponsored content or none of that stuff. I always tell you guys if I do sponsored content, always, always, always. I'm going to keep tracking my results every week. I'll show you my wins. I'll show you my losses. There's no hype, no BS. If you want me to share other platforms and other investment strategies that I'm investing in right now, or another crypto play that I believe could be even better than DexFi, drop me a comment, hit subscribe, click the bell, let me know. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.